Mid-20th century Chinese fashion was defined by its absolute utilitarianism. The state prioritized collective identity over individual expression, creating a visual landscape of total uniformity. The standard Mao jacket served as the primary tool of this conformity. Its rigid symmetry and turned-down collar functioned as a mandatory template, effectively removing personal aesthetic choice from public life. Today, the streets of modern cities show a different reality. Young people have replaced those utilitarian uniforms with ancient styles, walking through glass and steel shopping districts in sweeping, colorful robes. These historical silhouettes have reached the global high-fashion runway. What began as a subcultural street trend has evolved into a serious design movement. This movement is known as China Chic. It's a modern streetwear language built by mining 3,000 years of history to create something aggressively new. Understanding the logic of this trend requires a forensic deconstruction of the Neo-Chinese wardrobe, tracing its hidden structural DNA back to antiquity. To find the core of a Neo-Chinese garment, we must first strip away the vibrant patterns and focus entirely on its underlying architecture. This ancient prototype from the Shang and Zhou dynasties established two enduring rules: a distinct V-neck straight collar and a physical separation between the top and bottom panels. Designers eventually integrated these two pieces into the shengyi, a unified robe that became a standard of Chinese dress for centuries. The shengyi's construction followed a strict philosophical code. The upper section represented the order of heaven, while the lower section symbolized the stability of earth. Fusing them at the waistline conceptually unified the cosmos into a single, wearable structure. This flowing geometry eventually collided with the Manchu qipao during the Qing dynasty. The Manchu introduced a tighter, equestrian-influenced form with narrower sleeves and side closures. Modern designers actively exploit these structural contradictions. They fuse the voluminous sleeves of ancient robes with the restrictive collars of the Manchu era, often layering them with Western tailoring. The silhouette of modern China Chic is a wearable timeline built through the collision of these distinct historical layers. Beyond the underlying architecture, the movement relies on how historical motifs are weaponized on the garment's surface. Brands like Muxin sample from a vast visual history. They remix Qing dynasty banquet patterns with retro 1990s Hong Kong packaging to create textiles that feel both ancient and contemporary. While prints capture the color, the physical texture of the clothing comes from a different source: traditional ethnic embroidery. Traditional Tibetan embroidery and tujia brocade provide a heavy, tactile finish. Because these crafts are incredibly complex and time-consuming, they were once impossible to produce for a mass market. Industry leaders now use advanced 3D digital printing to bypass this limitation. This technology allows manufacturers to replicate the exact topographic feel of traditional embroidery on a massive scale. Designers then integrate these digitally generated brocades into oversized hoodies and avant-garde streetwear. By adopting digital fabrication, designers translate the visual complexity of ancient crafts into a scalable, modern manufacturing language. This entire design evolution is driven by a strategy of assimilation, the ancient practice of maintaining a core identity by absorbing outside influences. Historically, Chinese dress survived by absorbing foreign elements. First, the bifurcated pants of nomadic tribes during the Zhou dynasty, and later the structured robes of the Manchu during the Qing. The modern China Chic movement follows this same pattern. It pulls in global streetwear trends in 3D printing techniques, feeding them into the traditional core to create a new, hybrid style. By absorbing these modern tools, the clothing remains in a state of active evolution, moving beyond simple historical nostalgia. The modern runway demonstrates that this heritage persists by functioning as an adaptive system, one that maintains its relevance by continuously integrating the technology and trends of the present day.